10 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We have a lot of our listening audience that is into books, whether they are readers or writers.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I figured out. I figured out a long time ago that some books are very, very... it's very, very exciting for our listeners who are readers to hear from the authors that they love. And I know that our next guest is one of those. She is Lisa Gardner, and she's got a following, and they've been calling this morning because they knew she was coming on. Lisa is on the air to talk to us about her new book called Find Her. And so let's find out about it. Let's find out about Find Her. And I put the cover of the book on the streaming thing that we're doing on the internet, so you'll be able to see that. Plus, it'll be recorded and put up there. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Good morning, Larry. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Where are you calling from?
The mountains of New Hampshire, where it's very hot and humid.
Wow.
It's hot? It's hot in the mountains of New Hampshire?
Yeah, it's not supposed to be, but somehow someone didn't get that memo.
Oh no! You have a following. I think there are people right here in our listening audience that are like fans of you. Do you know? I mean, does this affect you at all? The I don't know, the superstardom of the author that you are?
The rock star.
I have to say, yeah, Find Her definitely struck a chord when it first came out a year and a half ago in hardcover. And, I mean, it's interesting to me because normally an author, when you go out in the world, no one has any idea who you are. That's just as well. But, you know, Find Her, people really have gotten into that book. They've gotten into that character, Flora Dane. They're so enthusiastic. I've did a number of book signings in Florida, and people just, they want to meet. They want to talk about it. It's definitely struck a nerve.
Oh, yeah. I know it has. I've had calls about it. So I didn't realize this was out. I feel like we've spoken before. Does that sound familiar?
You probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have.
I think so. All right. So tell me, what is it like for you as an author? Oh, hello. Is that a dog there?
Aw. I
Yes,
love that.
that's my puppy.
He's saying it's hot. It's hot in the mountains of New Hampshire.
I actually think that translated to squirrel.
Oh, that's funny.
Go get it. Get the squirrel.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So when you have a book that's a popular book and it comes out as a paperback, is it like being reborn? Is it like all living it all over again? The whole release thing?
Yes, Find Her came out as a hardcover a year and a half ago, and definitely there are big hardcover readers out there. But for a lot of people, being able to fit it into their purse, the lower price point, easier transportation of a paperback means, you know, that is the medium they prefer. So yeah, it's bringing Find Her and Flora Dane's story to a whole new audience, which is always very exciting.
And that means you show up at the airports too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I know airports sell hardcover, but it's the paperbacks that usually get taken onto the planes.
Yeah. So Find Her, for the readers who are discovering it for the first time, features Flora Dane, who is a young woman who was kidnapped and held captive for 472 days. She escapes, but 5 years later, she's just not finding that happily ever after. She's hypervigilant, she's hyper-aware, she can't sleep through the night. These are all pretty typical responses to trauma. But Flora decides to take it all one step further. She is determined to never be a victim again. She wants to feel strong. She wants to feel powerful. So she has become an expert in self-defense. She knows how to pick locks. She knows how to pick handcuffs. She knows how to take fun things out of your trash and use them to maim other predators, set serial rapists on fire. All sorts of fun MacGyver-like knowledge that this book will bring to you, too.
I think it's
when
awesome.
another college, yeah, and so when another college student goes missing in Boston, she decides if she can find this girl, maybe she can get the happily ever after for both of them, and that sets the stage for a really compelling character. I mean, she is scarred, she is traumatized, but Flora Dane is also determined, and she is one of the most interesting and now, dangerous women in Boston.
You also introduced us to one of the branches of the FBI called Victim Specialists. That had to take a lot of research on your part.
Yes. All my books start with a lot of real-world research, particularly into law enforcement, into investigation, and even I had never heard of the FBI's new Bureau of Victim Assistance. And it has kind of been born out of the fact that we're getting now these larger-than-life crimes. Everything from the Boston Marathon bombings, which is such a traumatic event. It will take years, for the families to recover, to these kidnapping cases we see, that make all the headlines where the girl's been kidnapped 10 years, 20 years. For these real-world stories, catching the bad guy is not the end. It's the beginning of a whole different ordeal. And that's what the Office for Victim Assistance now works with. It's trying to help the victims with the plan for reentry. It's helping families who need a coping mechanism and how to be supportive. I learned a lot of things that even after 25 years of researching crime and, investigative techniques, it just never occurred to me. Like when Flora Dane is kidnapped, her mom is now basically required to go on the national news. That's what we do to families now. That's how it is. People magazines in your front yard. You have to go. I mean, her poor mom's a nurse. It's the FBI, the Office of Victim Assistance, that teaches her how to dress, teaches her what to say to reporters.
So
the sound bites.
So how did you get into the head of somebody who's going through this after being, after coming out of a 472-day captive experience?
Well, interviewing the FBI victim advocates was a big thing because they have themselves worked so many cases and have a lot of insights into both trauma, what it means to be a survivor, as they say, and what it means to be a thriver, which is, getting to the other side. There's been a number of memoirs written by some of the women who've had these ordeals. And then I ended up interviewing a mom whose daughter was kidnapped in real life and very fortunately 9 months later found safe. But it is still something their family is going through. The other things you don't think about is the family doesn't get to work anymore. Finding your missing child does become the job. So how do you pay your bills? In many cases, it's the community that steps up, but the FBI will tell you there's federal resources as well. We have turned these crimes into almost like a national pastime, and these families now need a lot of assistance and support to get through it.
Yeah.
And it seems like the media, though, when things happen like this, they need to cover it. They need to make people more aware of the surroundings that it could possibly happen to them. But they're also instrumental by being in the forefront of everything that the person might be found.
Well, and certainly when I talk to the victim assistants with the FBI, what they do in the real world, and I utilized it in Find Her, was try to make the media your tool. Someone out there has kidnapped your daughter. In this case, like in Flora Danes, they didn't know who. But you can use the media to keep telling her story, make her human, make her personal. Like they would give parents like real talking points. And on social media, use Facebook, use Instagram, post childhood photos. Anything you can do to humanize your child will increase their chances of staying alive. But what a burden to put on a parent.
Really? Wow. The book is it's released today as a paperback. It's called Find Her.
Yes.
Lisa Gardner is the author. I found it on Amazon. You have some fans out there. If I have somebody who wants the free copy I've got, call me. I'll leave it on Patsy's desk. The rest of us have to go buy it. And it's wherever books are sold. This is one of those books that's everywhere. Lisa, thank you for being on there. And you have a website, lisagardner.com.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, yes.
LisaGardner.com. Thank you, Lisa. We will be right back.
Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. An American student jailed in North Korea now set free.
Otto Warmbier, according to a source close to the discussions in the situation, says has been released from North Korea. He was arrested in January of 2016. He was sentenced a few months